Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Yes Mujer Build It podcast. This is kind of a added podcast because we just made it through the election. We survived the election and here we are on the other side. And many of us are feeling tremendously upset at how we lost the election. And for some of us, it really has been a reality check for the truth of what is happening in this country. If you are a deep feeling person, chances are you are, if you're listening to this podcast, because I attract women that want to make an impact in the world. So chances are that's you. You want to make an impact in the world. And therefore, because you want to make an impact in the world, this election has deeply affected you. For some of us, we've known for a long time that there is a very thin veil that was covering over the US to make us believe that things were starting to change in a particular direction, right? In the direction of progress, or what we call progress for marginalized people. That thin veil has been lifted, and now we can all see. What is really happening is an unveiling of the racism and sexism that this country was founded on and that this country was really built on. And also white nationalism that this country was founded on. That's what's really going on now. We can clearly see it. And so we were unsuccessful in letting the fascist, racist, sexist, homophobic man make it to office. In fact, I know a lot of people who voted for him and are under the illusion that because the price of eggs may change and may be more affordable, that it was worth it to trade in democracy, women's rights, immigrant rights, etc. That it's okay to trade in those things. They may not know that they actually traded that in, but that's what they did, right? That is the reality of what we're going to experience for the next 4 years. So, what do we do now? How do we manage this? How do we move ourselves forward? How do we remind ourselves that there is something bigger that we're committed to than who became president over these last 4 years? I'm going to walk you through 3 really simple tools that I think will be really helpful for you during this time, during these first couple of weeks or month right after the election, right? And I, like you, am also feeling super, super raw. But I will tell you that something beautiful has emerged from me. There is a clarity that I have now that I didn't have a week ago. Even if you listened to my last podcast where I talked about the election coming, right? And why we feel things so deeply as brown women. And the reason why we feel things so deeply is because we are connected to the earth. We are connected to our ancestors. We are connected to the indigenous roots of where we come from. So there's something deeper happening in our DNA that doesn't necessarily happen with other cultures because, people tell me all the time, well, I'm an immigrant too. I came from Italy. Yeah, honey, your land is not below our feet. My land is literally below my feet. This is a different kind of immigrant experience that we are having. I want to remind us all of that. This is part of why we feel things deeply. I also want to be honest and transparent about the number of Latinos, especially Latino men, who voted for him, right? Who didn't vote for their own interests, voted for their own interests under this white is right internal racism that happens oftentimes to colonized people. We are colonized people. Our ancestors were colonized. And therefore, to survive, some of us had to take on this belief that in order to be okay, I need to be as white as possible. I need to be as Americanized as possible. I need to not speak Spanish, not talk about my culture. I need to assimilate. In fact, that's why I'm here. I'm here to assimilate to the American culture, which includes things like individualism, thinking only of myself, what's best for me. I care about the prices of eggs, so I'm going to vote for that. Secondly, capitalism. We do live in a capitalist society, which we all get to come to terms with that, right? We're all making money within this capitalist society, but how greedy you are within that capitalist society and how much you look out for your neighbor or your fellow citizen, right? That's a question. Because in American culture, it's all about me. I get mine. That's at the end of the day what's most important. Okay, so how do we manage? How do we deal with all of these feelings that are coming up for us? If you're feeling intense feelings, step one is going to be to acknowledge those feelings. Name the feelings, talk about those feelings, and actually allow yourself to feel them. So if you're feeling anger, you got to let the anger come up, the rage come up. If you're feeling sadness, you got to let the sadness come up. Maybe you're really disappointed and it hurts your heart so much so that you want to cry. Allow the tears to come up. It's okay. In fact, it is better that you feel your entire feelings, that you feel them, that you experience them, that you say them out loud in safe spaces, of course, that you say it to people that can actually hold space for you. You can also journal out your feelings. You can actually write out, I'm experiencing this. This is what I'm experiencing. 3 great questions that I've been sharing with everybody this past week is, what are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What is trying to emerge in you, through you? What's emerging? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What is emerging? You can take those 3 questions and journal and just allow yourself to experience whatever you're experiencing, whatever is coming up for you. That is step 1. Step 2, once you bring up the feelings, you name them, you start to experience them, you start to dance with them, you get to process through them. Process through them. So we don't just sit in the anger and then stay there for 10 years, right? Although it may feel right now like some of us are going to stay in the anger for 4 years during this time, maybe. But I can tell you that what's most beneficial is that you process through these feelings and then you use those feelings to do something with them. You use that energy or that stimulus that you are feeling, because that's what feelings are. That's what emotions are. They're stimulus, they're energy in the body. Use that energy to go do some work. Maybe not this week, maybe not this month, but at some point, once you've processed through some of it so that you can actually hold it. You can actually hold those feelings in a container and then use it like a laser pointed in a particular direction. So step 2 is really to process through those feelings so that you can hold them, so that you can actually dance with them in a way that is held by you. Not that the feeling is holding you, but that you are holding the feeling. In order to get to that place, you've got to process through some of this. This is where being around other like-minded people becomes really important, because you process through with them. You process through in those conversations. Resonance, when you can resonate with somebody else's experience and they resonate with you. You know, studies have shown that simply looking in each other's eyes when we've had a similar experience or we have similar values, just that calms our nervous system down, starts to allow us to bring up the feelings and process through them, helps us process through them. Finding that community that will listen to you, that will hold you when you're feeling scared, that will walk you through when you're feeling like you don't know what to do or you're feeling confused. Walk you through a process to support you through that. That's what you get to do, is find that community. Especially as Latinas, we need to process through community. It's most important. So find a community that you resonate with, that you can process your feelings through. You can also process through with a therapist or a coach. This is when having a therapist and a coach is most important, is when you're feeling these elevated feelings, these really big emotions, and you know you need to process through them. Naming them is not enough. Being able to say, I'm angry is not enough. Yes, I'm angry. You've got to feel that anger and then process through it, right? What am I going to do with this anger? That's where a therapist or a coach can really support you. And the third step then is taking that anger or pain, fear, doubt, uncertainty, whatever it is that you're feeling, taking that and making a decision about where you're going to channel that energy. Where are you going to put that energy in? What are you going to put that energy in? What decisions are you going to make? Are there any changes you're going to make? Are you going to do anything different because of that energy that you will then use that energy to create? Maybe you're going to create something new. Maybe you're going to make some decisions about how you spend your time. Maybe you're going to use this energy, this stimulus, this heightened experience you're having to follow through with your original goals for 2024. We have less than 2 months left in the year. Maybe you take this energy, this ball of pissed offness, and you use it to hit your goals. How about that? Maybe we don't create any new goals. We just stick with the original goal we had. Maybe we use this vitality, right? Because that's the way the energy feels. We use this synergy to move us forward in a big way, move you forward. Because here's one thing that I know for sure. The majority of people listening to this podcast right now, if we had more power, if we were connected to our personal power, if you were making more money or in a bigger leadership position or had a seat at the table or owned the building that the table is in, if we had more positions of power, leadership, money, resources, and felt good about ourselves, had good mental health, self-esteem, self-awareness, self-management tools, we could start moving our whole community forward. For sure. We would have more decision-making power. We would be able to intervene in times like these, right? So the struggle continues. The struggle continues. We get to continue to move ourselves forward. We get to take this emotional energy and use it to stand and not move from our vision, whatever it is that we want to create, whatever it is you want to create. So your personal vision, I want you to think right now about your life and what is the thing that is emerging in you that is so important for you. You might look completely different. For some of you, this might be a new project. For some of you, this might be what you wrote in your plan at the beginning of the year, or this might be something to do with family or finances or whatever area of your life, health, whatever area of your life, you're wanting to move forward. This is the opportunity to do that, to use this energy to fuel you, to use the fear, anger, frustration, doubt, betrayal to fuel you to actually get that thing done. Yes, let's use the pissed offness to further our agenda, because being a stand for your agenda, for what you want, that is the real work. It's not moving from that vibration, right? That vibrational energy. And let me add something regarding that frequency of being a stand for your vision. Where did you create your vision from? The thing that you want to do in the world, or your goal even. If we start peeling back the layers of where did this goal come from, it really came from a place of love and authenticity. Whenever I'm talking to a client and working with a client, and I managed a lot of group calls this past week and got pulled into rooms with community, which is so beautiful to be able to hold space for people and be able to help Latinas process through the array of feelings that we were experiencing, right? When I peel back the layers of what we really want, at the core of what we really want, usually is something connected to love, to do something that we're passionate about, that we love, to create financial wealth for us and our families from a place of love because we love our family, because we love our community, to make an impact or create change in our community out of love. At the core of what we really want for our vision is love. So when I say take a stand for your vision, take a stand for what you want to create, take a stand for what you were feeling a month ago, stand there. I mean that from a place of love. In that core of what you're standing for is love. It's not hatred. It's not anger. It's not frustration. And you have the right to feel angry, frustrated, all of those feelings. But remember that at the core of what you really want is love. I say this because many of you might be getting pushback from people regarding friendships. You might have found out that some of people that you love or some people in your inner circle or that you're close with voted for him. You might be shocked at the amount of people that did, right? Yeah. His waving his magic spell has been working on a lot of people and a lot of the population. And it makes sense. He's a really good enroller. And he's speaking to people's fears. That's really it. He's speaking to people's fears, and fear will move people. It's a pain point in the enrollment process that really does move people to take action. You have to decide if you want to live from that place or if you want to connect to your deeper knowing. But I know if you're like me, you've been receiving messages, DMs, people asking, why are you unfollowing me, or why are you making the decisions you're making, right? Let's not let politics get in the way of friendship. This is where you get to make a decision. And it's up to you, of course, because at the core of what you want is love. Like I said before, at the core of what you want, the core of what you're taking a stand for is love. But I want to offer you what I'm doing because I've been asked by many people. I genuinely love a lot of people in my life. And I love the Latina community, genuinely love the Latina community. Even the Latinas that voted for Trump, there is a love there. And things have become very clear to me around where my work is needed and where I'm going to choose to put my energy and my time. We all have limited amounts of time, right? Edit, edit, edit. We all have limited amounts of time and energy. Who do you choose to spend that with? What do you choose to do with that limited energy that you have? And for me, I'm going to say this here now, and I think I'm actually going to do a reel about this also. For me, I'm choosing to spend time and energy with the people who are actually saddened and hurt and angry by the results of this election. Those are the people who need me the most. And I need them too. I'm not the person who's trying to build a bridge on the other side. And there's lots of amazing coaches doing that work, building bridges. There are, even in my circle, a couple of coaches and powerful women who work with racial diversity issues, equity and inclusion issues. There's even one client of mine who has done work in educating white women about white privilege, for example. So there are people doing that work, which I think is amazing. My heart goes out to you. I bow with respect to that work. And that is not me. One thing that has become clear during this week is, what is my assignment? It's actually something that I recommend you do, is take the feelings you're feeling regarding this election, journal them out, and then ask, how does this relate to my assignment, right? And by assignment, I mean the assignment that my indigenous ancestors have given me, because I've done some work to connect with them. And I'm very clear that my assignment is not in the building of the bridge, but my assignment is in the taking of my tribe and showing them how to get up the mountain. Leading in the front, showing people we can climb this mountain. We will climb out of this ditch that we now find ourselves in, or this hole that we find ourselves in, and we will climb higher and higher up this mountain. Because I've climbed a lot of mountains for myself. This is actually why, in some cases, I find people in my circles that voted for him, because I'm part of the privileged elite. I get that. In the world of coaches, I think I'm part of the 0.03% of coaches who ever hit $1 million, right? I get it. I'm in the elite. It's also why I find myself alone sometimes. But even more important, that I hold and that I be a stand for my beliefs, right? Because at that level, no one else is being a stand for these kind of beliefs. Everyone has sold out to the majority privileged ideology of, well, we care about money. And so if he's going to get us, better interest rates, we're going to go that way. We care about the economy, supposedly. Everybody becomes an economist all of a sudden. My work is in helping you climb that mountain, helping you make more money, helping you gain clarity on what you want, helping you achieve the thing you want. That is my work. And that has become even more clear this past week. That's actually a gift that I've gotten from this crazy election. My work is to help you climb your mountain. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you climb your mountain. Number one, you feel your feelings. Name your feelings. Allow yourself to feel what you're actually feeling. Like, say it out loud. No more swallowing the feelings and trying to be copacetic and nice to everybody. No, feel what you're actually feeling. If you're angry, feel angry. If you're frustrated, feel frustrated. Allow yourself to talk about feeling disgust, feeling whatever it is, confusion. Then start processing through those feelings, right? Allow yourself to process through, which means you don't just sit there. You dance with those feelings. They start to move through you. For example, you can write them out. You can talk to a friend. You can go to therapy. You can go to coaching. Wherever you feel, you can be in community to process through them, but start to process through them. And then lastly, one of the ways you can process through them is to use them to further your agenda forward, to further your vision forward. You can be a stand for your vision and not move from it, even with these circumstances that we're currently living with. You can actually decide to use this heightened energy you have, this feeling you have, no matter what it is, whether it's a positive feeling or a negative feeling, quote unquote, you can use that feeling as fuel to go out there and make a bigger impact, or get that promotion, or buy that car that you want, or find the love of your life. You can use this energy to make decisions this week of, basta. No more waiting around. No more like tiptoeing on, am I doing this? Am I doing that? Make a decision and go. This is the moment to do that, because you are connected to these heightened emotions of what's right and what's wrong and what your values are. One thing that has definitely happened across the nation this week is people have gotten clear on what their values are. 100%. I don't know if everybody did. Maybe some people voted unconsciously, didn't vote thinking in terms of their values, but your vote shows you what you're a stand for, what you believe in. And how easily you're duped is my other thing that I'm realizing, is how easily people fall under spells. But he's a great magician. He really put together a really good enrollment process. And it makes sense that a lot of people would shift into that space. And let's use this anger, this shock and awe to create. Let's stand back up and create something even more powerful than we saw possible. And if you need to rest, rest. If you need to take a break, take a break. It's okay to take breaks. It's not okay to quit on your vision. If you quit on your vision, that's the only way you actually fail or lose. But you can take a break. Absolutely. You can take a time out. I mean, that's what I'm doing for a little while is I'm taking a time out in the dugout with my teammates. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. I'm taking a time out with my teammates who see the world the same way I do. We're going back to the dugout. We're going to hold each other. We're going to express our feelings. We're going to support each other. And we're going to regain some strength. I don't know how long this will take us to regain strength, but whatever amount of time it takes us, we will be back out on the playing field. We will be back out batting and hitting the ball and scoring. We are not quitting the game. That's the thing, right? You don't quit the game. You take a time out, you rest for a little while. I love each of you so much. I just want to say this. I'm recording this, 2 days after the election or 3 days after the election. And it really came from wanting to say something to all of you. I honor each of you for the work that you're doing. I, just like you, want to make an impact with our community so much. And I also think of all of us when I make decisions. I don't just think of me and what's best for me and my little family. I think of all of us. And I think that is a trait that I remember from my Indigenous ancestors. That is a trait that has not come from the Americanized Wendy, but comes from the Indigenous connected Wendy. No matter what you decide, you are loved. Know that. And no matter what you decide to do this week, or if you decide to unfollow me or unsubscribe or whatever, I'm going to be okay. I just want to let you all know. And you're going to be okay. One of the best things you can do is feel what you're feeling, allow yourself to process through, and then make some decisions. What do you want to use that energy for? What do you think your assignment is? I send you each so much love, and I will catch you guys on the next episode of Yes Mujer Build It.